Have you ever felt an instant connection with someone, as if you've known them forever, even though you just met? Or perhaps you've been irresistibly drawn to a person, yet you couldn't quite explain why. What if I told you that the reason isn't as simple as personality, looks, or charm? According to Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, our deepest attractions go far beyond the surface. In fact, people fall in love with you for two profound reasons, reasons deeply rooted in the architecture of the unconscious mind. In this video, we're diving deep into Jung's fascinating ideas on love and attraction. You'll discover how projections, hidden parts of the self, and even unconscious archetypes shape who we're drawn to, and why those connections feel so magnetic. But here's the catch: once you understand these powerful psychological forces, you'll see love and relationships in an entirely new light. Stick with us until the end, and you might just uncover the hidden truths behind your own attractions, and how they can transform your relationships. 1. The hidden forces of attraction. Attraction is something we experience often, but we rarely stop to question why it happens. We tend to think that our attraction to someone is simply because of their physical appearance, charm, or personality. However, Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, argued that love is not a random occurrence, but rather the result of deeper psychological forces at play. Jung believed that the attraction we feel is shaped by unconscious forces, influenced by our inner world and unprocessed emotions that are waiting to surface. Jung's theory revolves around the concept of projections. He explained that each individual carries repressed or hidden images within them, parts of themselves that they may not even be aware of. These images are often fragments of who we were, who we long to be, or who we wish to become. For example, we may repress our own desires or qualities, pushing them deep into our unconscious mind. But these parts of us don't simply disappear. Instead, they remain active, influencing our perceptions and interactions. Projection and attraction. When we meet someone who embodies or resonates with one of these hidden parts, we feel an overwhelming sense of attraction, sometimes even thinking it's love at first sight. However, it's not the person in front of us that we are truly seeing, it's a reflection of something deep within ourselves. It could be a quality we lack, a trait we have repressed, or an emotional need we've never fully expressed. In this way, the attraction is not about who the other person is but rather about what they represent within our own unconscious mind. For instance, let's consider a person who has spent their entire life avoiding vulnerability, perhaps out of fear of emotional exposure. If this person meets someone who is open, expressive, and comfortable with emotional connection, they may find themselves captivated by that person. This attraction isn't just admiration, it's a deep, unconscious pull to the very qualities that they have hidden away within themselves. The attraction feels mysterious, almost magical, but in truth, it's the unconscious mind reaching out to heal and integrate these suppressed aspects. Example of projection in real life. Consider a real-life example: Sarah, a woman who has always been very guarded and fearful of letting others see her vulnerabilities, meets someone like Jake, who is carefree and emotionally open. Sarah finds herself feeling an intense attraction to Jake. Initially, she might think it's just because he's charming or confident. However, on a deeper level, Sarah is drawn to Jake because he represents a part of her that she has long suppressed: the ability to be open, emotionally expressive, and free from the fear of judgment. Jung's theory suggests that the attraction Sarah feels towards Jake is not just about him, it is about her unconscious recognition of something she needs to embrace within herself. When we recognize this dynamic in our own relationships, we begin to see that attraction is not always about surface-level traits. Rather, it's about the unconscious forces within us that are drawn to what we are missing or need to develop. How understanding projection can change your relationships. Once you understand that projections are a natural part of attraction, you can begin to approach relationships with more awareness. Instead of idealizing someone based on what they reflect in you, you can start to see them as an opportunity for personal growth. If you are drawn to someone because they embody qualities that you lack, You can consciously work on developing those qualities within yourself. This can lead to healthier, more balanced relationships, where the attraction is not based on an illusion but on genuine mutual growth and understanding. 2. Projection and the mirror effect. One of the most profound aspects of Jung's theory of love is the role of projection in shaping our romantic experiences. We often hear the saying, "You are who you attract." But Jung took this idea further, explaining that the people we are attracted to reflect parts of ourselves, especially those parts we may not be consciously aware of or have fully integrated. When we project our inner world onto another person, we are essentially placing our own unprocessed feelings, desires, or potential onto them. This means that the person we feel attracted to is not just a random individual, but a mirror of our inner landscape. We may be projecting our desires, fantasies, or even unresolved childhood experiences onto that person, and this creates an illusion of love. Understanding projection in relationships. In romantic relationships, this projection can be particularly powerful because it creates an illusion of connection that can feel incredibly real. However, the danger lies in the fact that we are not truly seeing the other person for who they are. We are seeing a version of them that we have created in our minds. This is why some relationships can start with intense chemistry and passion, only to crumble later when the projections start to break down and the reality of who the other person truly is emerges. Example of projection in real life. Take the example of Anna, who has always struggled with feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. When she meets David, someone who is confident and outgoing, she feels drawn to him. She admires his ability to take charge and speak his mind. Anna may even feel that David is the one, thinking that he has qualities that she deeply desires. However, what Anna may not realize is that her attraction is largely based on the projection of her own unconscious desire to be more confident and assertive, qualities that she has repressed within herself. As time passes, Anna may begin to feel disillusioned with David. What initially seemed so attractive, his boldness and outgoing nature, might start to irritate her. She may become frustrated with the very qualities that once drew her in, and this is because her projection of her own unfulfilled needs is no longer being met. As soon as the idealized image of David fades, Anna is left to confront the reality of who he truly is, which may not align with the fantasy she had created in her mind. How to break free from projection. Recognizing projection in your relationships can be a powerful tool for personal growth. When you become aware of what you are projecting onto others, you can begin to ask yourself important questions. What parts of myself am I not accepting or developing? How can I start to embrace these aspects of my own personality instead of seeking them in others? By becoming more self-aware, you can begin to form relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding rather than illusions and fantasies. 3. The anima and animus, archetypes within. Jung's concepts of the anima and animus are central to his theories on romantic attraction. According to Jung, every person carries within them an unconscious image of the opposite gender. For men, this is the anima, the feminine aspect of their psyche. For women, it's the animus, the masculine aspect of their psyche. These inner images are not simply cultural stereotypes or societal roles. They are deeply embedded archetypes that are shaped by early experiences, particularly those with parental figures, as well as by the collective cultural symbols of femininity and masculinity. The anima and animus are powerful forces that influence the way we perceive and interact with others, especially in romantic relationships. When we meet someone who resonates with our inner image of the opposite gender, we often experience an overwhelming attraction to them. This attraction can feel like destiny or soul recognition, as if we've known this person forever, even if we've only just met. The anima in men. In men, the anima represents the unconscious feminine aspect of their psyche. It is often shaped by their early relationship with their mother and other significant female figures in their lives. The anima is not just about women in the physical sense, but rather the qualities traditionally associated with femininity, intuition, emotion, creativity, and receptivity. When a man meets a woman who embodies these qualities, he may feel an instant and powerful connection to her. This attraction can be overwhelming, as it feels as though the woman is activating a deep, unconscious part of him that has been dormant or repressed. However, the challenge comes when the man begins to idealize the woman based on his anima projection. He may start to believe that she is the embodiment of all the qualities he has been seeking, even though these qualities are part of his own inner world. The animus in women. For women, the animus represents the unconscious masculine aspect of their psyche. It is influenced by their early relationships with their father and other male figures. The animus embodies qualities traditionally associated with masculinity, rationality, strength, assertiveness, and independence. When a woman meets a man who embodies these traits, she may feel an unconscious pull toward him, feeling as if he is the missing piece of herself. Again, this attraction is not just about the external qualities of the man, but about the unconscious recognition of a part of herself that has yet to be fully integrated. The danger of idealization. While the anima and animus can lead to deep and powerful connections, there is also a danger in idealizing the person who embodies these archetypes. When we project our inner images onto someone, we are not seeing them as they truly are. Instead, we are seeing an idealized version of them that aligns with our inner fantasies. This can lead to disappointment and disillusionment when the other person inevitably fails to live up to the fantasy we have created in our minds. Integrating the anima and animus. Jung believed that true psychological growth comes when we integrate these unconscious archetypes into our conscious lives. For men, this means embracing the feminine qualities of intuition, emotion, and receptivity. For women, it means embracing the masculine qualities of assertiveness, rationality, and independence. When we can integrate these aspects of our psyche, we stop projecting them. 4. Love and the shadow, embracing the unconscious. One of Jung's most groundbreaking ideas was his concept of the shadow, the hidden or repressed aspects of ourselves that we are often unaware of but that influence our thoughts, actions, and relationships. The shadow represents the parts of our personality that we have either rejected or that have been suppressed due to societal, familial, or personal pressures. This includes everything from aggressive tendencies to deep-seated insecurities and even aspects of our sexuality. The shadow is not inherently bad. In fact, it contains the untapped potential for growth and transformation. However, because we tend to avoid these parts of ourselves, they become a powerful force in our unconscious. These repressed qualities can emerge in our relationships in the form of projections, particularly in romantic contexts. The shadow in love. In romantic relationships, the shadow can manifest in unexpected and often unhealthy ways. For example, someone who has long suppressed their anger may attract a partner who brings out that repressed anger. Or they may experience extreme jealousy, fear, or control issues. At first, these emotions might seem like external problems caused by the other person, but Jung would argue that they are more likely projections of one's own unresolved shadow material. Example of shadow projection in real life. Take Mark, who has always been taught to suppress his emotions and to never show vulnerability. Mark meets Julie, a kind and nurturing woman, and initially finds himself drawn to her warmth. However, as the relationship progresses, Mark begins to feel an increasing sense of resentment toward her for being too needy. What Mark does not realize is that his resentment is actually a reflection of his own shadow, his suppressed need for emotional expression, and his fear of being vulnerable. Julie, in this case, serves as a mirror for the emotional side of Mark that he has neglected for years. Integrating the shadow for healthier relationships. Jung emphasized that integrating the shadow is a crucial part of personal growth. This means embracing the repressed parts of ourselves, acknowledging them, and accepting them as valid aspects of who we are. In romantic relationships, integrating the shadow can help break unhealthy patterns and lead to more authentic connections. Instead of projecting our fears and unresolved issues onto others, we can start to address them within ourselves. By becoming aware of the shadow in our relationships, we can begin to consciously confront these repressed aspects of ourselves. This might mean working through unresolved childhood trauma, rethinking old beliefs about ourselves, or simply allowing ourselves to experience emotions that we have long denied. When we stop projecting the shadow onto others, we can build deeper, more genuine connections with our partners, free from the influence of unconscious fears and insecurities. 5. The archetypal nature of romantic relationships. Jung's concept of archetypes is central to understanding the deeper dynamics of romantic attraction. Archetypes are universal symbols and patterns that reside in the collective unconscious, affecting all human beings regardless of culture or background. These archetypes shape our behaviors, emotions, and interactions, and they play a powerful role in the way we experience love. In romantic relationships, archetypes often influence the way we connect with others and how we view ourselves within the relationship. For example, many people are unconsciously drawn to partners who embody specific archetypal roles, such as the hero, the caregiver, or the rebel, because these roles resonate with aspects of our own psyche. Common archetypes in love. The hero and the damsel or heroine. One of the most common archetypal dynamics is the hero and the damsel or heroine. In this pattern, one partner takes on the role of the rescuer, while the other plays the role of the one in need of saving. This dynamic often plays out unconsciously, with one person trying to fix the other, and the other person relying on the first for emotional or practical support. The caregiver and the child. Another archetypal pattern is the caregiver and the child. In this dynamic, one partner may take on the role of the nurturer and protector, while the other may play the role of the dependent or emotionally vulnerable partner. This archetype can be seen in relationships where one person tends to be overly protective or motherly, while the other partner leans on them for emotional support. The rebel and the conformist. This dynamic involves a partner who embodies the archetype of the rebel, challenging societal norms and expectations, while the other partner plays the role of the conformist, who adheres to tradition or seeks stability. This relationship can be marked by tension, as the rebel may constantly push boundaries, while the conformist may seek safety and order. Example of archetypes in real life. Consider Linda and Peter. Linda embodies the archetype of the caregiver. She is loving, nurturing, and always there to support those she loves. Peter, on the other hand, tends to be emotionally withdrawn and often finds himself in need of emotional care. Initially, Linda feels fulfilled in her role as the caretaker, and Peter finds comfort in her care. However, over time, the dynamic begins to feel unbalanced. Peter becomes resentful of always being the one who needs care, and Linda becomes exhausted from always being the one who provides it. This relationship exemplifies how archetypal roles can become imbalanced over time, leading to dissatisfaction and frustration. Recognizing and redefining archetypal roles. While these archetypal roles can initially seem comforting and familiar, they can also be limiting and lead to unhealthy dynamics if they are not consciously recognized and redefined. Jung believed that self-awareness and individuation, the process of becoming whole by integrating the unconscious aspects of ourselves, were essential to transcending these archetypal patterns. In romantic relationships, this means recognizing when we are unconsciously playing into roles and taking steps to create a more balanced, authentic connection. Example of breaking archetypal patterns. Sophia and Alex have been together for several years, but Sophia has always taken on the role of the caregiver, constantly putting Alex's needs before her own. However, after attending therapy and engaging in self-reflection, Sophia realizes that she has been neglecting her own emotional needs in the process. Alex, on the other hand, comes to understand that he has been overly dependent on Sophia for emotional support, failing to contribute equally to the relationship. By both of them recognizing their archetypal roles and consciously choosing to shift these dynamics, they can move toward a more balanced and fulfilling partnership. 6. The alchemy of transformation in love. Jung often spoke of the process of alchemy as a metaphor for psychological transformation. Alchemy, The ancient practice of transforming base metals into gold symbolizes the deep inner work that is required for personal growth and self-realization. In romantic relationships, the idea of alchemy comes into play when two people come together and, through their connection, undergo profound transformation, individually and collectively. The alchemical process of love. Love, according to Jung, is a transformative force that can lead to individuation, the process of becoming the fullest version of yourself. Just as alchemy requires the refining of metals, romantic relationships require the refinement of the self. When two people enter into a committed partnership, they are often forced to confront their own weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and unresolved issues. This confrontation can be painful, but it is through this very struggle that true transformation occurs. In the context of love, the alchemical process involves the union of opposites, the conscious and the unconscious, the masculine and feminine, the light and the dark. This union of opposites creates a new, integrated whole. The relationship, much like the alchemical process, becomes the crucible where both partners are refined and transformed. Example of alchemy in love. Consider the relationship between Hannah and Tom. In the early stages of their relationship, they both experience intense attraction and passion. However, as time goes on, their differences begin to surface. Hannah struggles with feelings of insecurity, while Tom has difficulty expressing his emotions. These challenges cause tension in the relationship. But instead of running from them, they both commit to working through their issues together. Through this process, they both begin to confront their own fears and insecurities. Hannah learns to embrace her vulnerability, while Tom learns to open up and communicate more effectively. Over time, their relationship transforms into one that is based on deep mutual understanding, respect, and emotional intimacy. In this way, the alchemical process of love allows them both to become more whole and integrated individuals. The power of alchemical love. The power of alchemical love is that it does not just change the individuals involved. It transforms the very nature of their relationship. The struggles and challenges they face together create a stronger bond, one that is based on authenticity and shared growth. Just as in alchemy, where the final result is the creation of something pure and valuable, love, when approached with openness and vulnerability, has the potential to create a relationship that is both transformative and enduring. 7. The role of consciousness in healthy love. As we continue exploring Jung's theories on love, it is essential to understand the role of consciousness in shaping healthy romantic connections. Jung emphasized that individuation, the process of integrating the unconscious with the conscious self, is key to forming relationships that are authentic and fulfilling. When we are unconscious of the forces shaping our attraction, we are more likely to fall into unhealthy relationship patterns, repeating the same mistakes and attracting partners who mirror unresolved issues from our past. However, when we become conscious of our projections, shadows, and archetypal patterns, we begin to make more conscious choices in love. The importance of consciousness in relationships. Being conscious in relationships means recognizing our unconscious patterns and choosing to act from a place of self-awareness rather than reacting from unconscious emotional impulses. This allows us to move beyond the superficial attraction and connect on a deeper level with our partners. Jung believed that true love is not just about finding someone to complete us, but about finding someone who supports us in our journey toward becoming the fullest version of ourselves. Example of conscious love in real life. Take the example of Jane and David. Initially, they are drawn to each other in the same way as many romantic couples, through unconscious attraction and idealization. However, over time, both Jane and David begin to recognize the patterns of their own projections and emotional needs that have influenced their connection. Instead of continuing to seek fulfillment through the other person, they start to focus on their own personal growth, supporting each other as they individually evolve. Their relationship shifts from one based on need and dependency to one rooted in mutual respect and shared growth. By increasing their consciousness of the internal forces that shape their attraction, Jane and David are able to create a more stable, meaningful partnership that fosters both their individual and collective growth. 8. The path of true love, moving beyond fantasy. Finally, Jung urges us to recognize that true love is not about finding a perfect partner or living out a fantasy. Instead, love is a journey of self-discovery and growth, where both individuals are continually evolving together. This path is not always easy. It can be filled with challenges, misunderstandings, and moments of doubt. But these challenges, according to Jung, are essential to the process of individuation and personal development. The end of the idealized fantasy. When we fall in love with an idealized image of someone, we may believe that they are the answer to all our desires, and the relationship may feel like a perfect fairy tale. However, this fantasy eventually fades as we encounter the reality of our partner's humanity. The flaws, contradictions, and imperfections that we once overlooked or idealized may become sources of conflict. But it is in facing these imperfections that the true nature of love unfolds. Real love is grounded in reality. True love, as Jung would argue, is based on seeing and accepting both ourselves and our partner as we truly are. It is about recognizing that love is not a static experience but a dynamic journey of growth, where both partners encourage each other to face their shadows, integrate their unconscious aspects, and become more whole. Rather than holding on to a fantasy, real love requires us to let go of our illusions and embrace the complexities of being human. It challenges us to deepen our understanding of ourselves, to grow beyond our limiting beliefs, and to step into a more authentic and expansive version of who we are. The unfolding journey of love. As we reflect on Jung's theories on love, it becomes clear that the dynamics of attraction are not random or purely driven by superficial qualities. Instead, they are deeply rooted in the unconscious forces that shape who we are, what we seek, and how we connect with others. Love, according to Jung, is an alchemical process that invites us to explore the deepest layers of our psyche and awaken parts of ourselves that have long been hidden. Whether through projections, archetypes, or the unconscious forces at play, love challenges us to grow, evolve, and integrate all aspects of ourselves. However, for love to be truly transformative, it requires conscious awareness. It's about recognizing the patterns, projections, and shadows that shape our relationships and choosing to evolve together with our partners. This journey is not always easy, but it is the path to authentic, fulfilling love, a love that transcends fantasy and is grounded in the reality of who we are. So, the next time you experience the pull of romantic attraction, ask yourself, what part of my inner world is being awakened in this connection? What unconscious patterns am I projecting onto this person? And most importantly, how can I use this relationship as a catalyst for my own growth and transformation? By understanding the deeper forces of love through Jung's lens, we can not only build more conscious and authentic relationships, but also embark on a deeper journey towards self-discovery and individuation.